Hello everyone, welcome to a Unity tutorial. This is going to show you guys how to take in 3D animated characters into Unity, how to create animation clips from a timesheet, and how to make a state machine out of them. So we're just going to go ahead and jump right on in. If you guys are part of the class, you will be provided with the assets. If you guys are just following along from the internet, you can check the description below. There's links to the Dropbox that has the 3D model asset and the timesheets. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump on in. Um, so there's a bunch of different ways to bring things into Unity. I usually prefer just the drag and drop method. Unity basically does the same thing no matter what you do. It's just going to take your 3D model and stick it inside of a product folder. So we're just going to go over to my desktop where I have these assets stored. Right here's my animated character. I'll just go ahead and take him and drag and drop him into the 3D models area. Just drop right there. There it is. That's our character. Okay. So here it is. You look over here inside the inspector on the right side here. We have scale factor set to 1. All the rest of these settings we can leave alone. We're going to go over to the rig. You can see here that's creating from generic. If you're wanting to create a customized rig, you can go ahead and create one. You'll have to go into Mechanim to make it to where it authenticates the rig. But since this one's already been imported, it doesn't actually have the skeleton with it because we just baked it into the mesh. So then we can go ahead and proceed over to the animation portion. If we had root nodes going on from the actual or skeleton rig, which we're not using in this particular example, you'd want to make sure this is checked and tell it which one is the root node. Okay, so jumping right on in, we have our character here selected. This is going to be down at the bottom here. We want this to be brought up a bit so we can see what we're doing. Okay, bring it up like so. And we also want to have our timesheet open so we can see what animation clips we need to make. So let's see here. I got my animation timeline list. Pop this guy open. Sure, that's fine, whatever. There it is. Okay, so Ragdoll doesn't have a timeline. That's just something that's default built into Unity. You guys are gonna have to have that plugged into your character at some point, but that's not going to be part of this lesson. Okay, so we're looking at idle is from 0 to 100. So let's go back over into Unity. And for clip 1 here, I'm going to go ahead and say this one is going to be called idle. And from frame 0 to 100. Okay, and then say apply. We can do good time if you want to, but it's not really necessary. It's going to be start and end frame is the same. Okay. We got one clip called idle, and actually, you know what? Let's make sure there's naming conventions going alongside here because it might not be a big deal for this project because we don't have a lot of animations, but once your project grows and you have more animated objects going inside, naming convention is really big. Trying to figure out which animation clip goes to what based off some discrete naming like idle or run is going to be confusing for an animator. So let's call this one enemy test idle. And we'll just have enemy test be the prefix to all of them. That way we can find all of them really easily. Okay. See now it's been updated over here. Let's go ahead and add another animation clip now. Okay, another take one here. Let's check our list. This one here. Next one is patrol straight 105 to 165. Okay. Now we have enemy test and patrol straight. Okay, and we're going to hit apply. Oops, forgot to put natural numbers. Get ahead of myself here. 105 to 165. Okay, we can override that. 105 to 165. And we can apply. If you want to test these out down here, you see how it's down here. You just go ahead and play. You can see the character doing his walk. Okay. Same thing with the idle. We can test that out. Here's the idle. Just kind of lumbering around down here in the bottom. Okay. Let's go ahead and add in our next clip. Next one is turn left. So it's 170 to 210. And I'm going to try to save myself a second here by copying off this part here. Down here, put that, there we go. And we'll call that one, as turn left. Yeah, turn left. 170 to 210. Okay. And we'll apply that. Go ahead and test it out. See down here? There he is. He's turning left. See something interesting over there. Okay. Let's go ahead and check the next one here. Turn right is 220 and 250. So add another one here. Okay. And that one is going to be 220 to 250. Okay. There we go. Attack melee 1, 270 to 300. Did I spelled that right? We'll see. 270 to 300. Hit apply. Set that out. There he goes. Cool. Okay. Next one is 300 to 325. That's just a kick. Okay. Now, if you guys are, that was an override. 300, 300 to 325. So if you guys are familiar with some of this, bringing stuff over to Unity process, there are two different methods I see being used a lot. And one is what I'm doing here, which is all the animations are on one timeline of one character. And then I also see ones where people will bring in animations as individual objects. So I'll have just a run cycle on this character, and then there'll be a walk cycle, and there'll just be a bunch of different characters in here with those different animation cycles. I prefer to keep it this way. This is just me. Reason being is, for one, it's all in one file, so it's all nice and clean. And for two, it saves some data space to where you're not having 20 objects that are all animated, bringing in the base meshes and having to load up extra file size on your project. So that's just me. I could be wrong, but that's just the way I've been working for a long time. Okay, so moving along here, we got our jump melee, and this is kind of ridiculous, but we're gonna put it in here anyway. So 325 to 350. $325 and $350. Okay, let's see how that looks. Our crazy man. Okay, and let's do our last one. Run cycle is 360 to 380. Okay, hit apply. Let's see here. There he goes. He's running. Cool. All right, so we have all of our animation clips. So what is the next step? The next step is we need to create an animation controller to control these animations. So what we're going to do, and we could even, well, we can go ahead and drop one of these guys into the scene just for on runtime. We can see some of the stuff. A little bit later on, this will be the programmers. Um, task is to make a real-time controller so we can test the animations in screen here. But until then, just click in here, and we're going to create an animation controller for this object. So we'll hit the right mouse button, and we're going to do create animation controller. There we go. And we'll call this one enemy controller. Okay. We'll double click on this guy to open up the state machine. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we need to create a starting state. So we're going to go to create states, and we're going to go to create an empty. This new state is going to be idle. Okay, so let's go ahead and make sure it's named. Go up here and call this one idle. Okay, and now we're going to attach in a animation. So where it says motion, we're going to click on this little eye on the side here, and then you'll see that all of our enemy animations are all right here, which is why we named them. Just a little bit of help there. So we'll go to enemy test idle, and then you see it's popped in over here. So now we're good. But there's nothing really to see quite yet because we don't have any blends between anything. So that's the reason why having a script for inside the scene lets you kind of preview some of this stuff. Okay, so let's keep going forward though. So we're going to hold down right mouse button. We're going to go to create state. We're going to create another one. This one will be, we'll go straight into our walk. So this one will be called our walk cycle. Okay, and we turn, and here we've got jump back, melee turn. We don't even have a walk, we just have a run. No, it's patrol, that's right. And we'll call this one walk up here. Okay, and now we need to create a blend from idle to walk. So we're going to hold down right mouse button to make transition on top of idle. And that'll give us this little wiry thing that we can go over here. And once it locks onto one of the states, if we want to stay there, we just click on the state we want. We want to go to this one, so there we go. Okay, so now we can actually see the transition from one animation to the other. So we can click on this little blend tree or transition point here. And I'll come up here and it'll show you the character, and then you can see over here it starts out in idle and then it transitions over to walk, and here's the blend in between. So if I press play, you can see now that it starts out in idle and then it goes into the blend of walk cycle. Okay, and you can make it to where you can pull this apart and make it to where this happens over a little more of a blend. So you can say, let's see here, this is what the artists are going to do. They're going to need to fine tune these animations to where the blend looks good. So there you go. See there, transitions in. Okay. And you usually want to have a return case as well. So we're going to want to reverse this operation. So we'll do right mouse button on top of this walk transition. Do make transition, go back to walk, or back to idle from walk. There we go. So let's go ahead and check that transition. So now we can see here's the walk, and it's going to go back into idle. So let's go ahead and preview that. So he's walking, and then he's going to go back to idle. So looks like that kind of happened a little bit little sharply for me. So I'm going to go ahead and tweak this by dragging this a little bit into the idle. And let's see about that. See if that helps us out a little bit. Okay. I need to bring this back a smidge. Bring this back. Let's preview again. Here we go. We can always work a little bit more with this, but that looks okay for me for right now. Okay. So let's go on to the next one. We'll go ahead and create ourselves another state. Create another empty. Let's do this one on top. And this one's going to be my run. Okay, and I'll call this run over here. And maybe it would make more sense for this to be over here, because what I'm going to need to do is for every transition that makes sense for it to go to another state, I'm going to want to make a transition point between the two. So from idle to walk to run, or from idle straight to run, that could be an option. So I'll need to make sure that if it is an option, I can have transitions so that it can do that for us. So I'm going to start from walk to run. Let's go from here to here and make another one going back. Okay, so let's go ahead and adjust the one from walk to run. Okay, so let's go ahead and preview this guy here. Going from walk, and then he's straight into run. So that could be, it actually looks pretty good. I'm just going to add a little bit of a tweak and see if the blending going out this way a little bit more looks better, if it has a little more time to go from walk to run. Yeah, I kind of like that a little bit better. Okay. Yeah, okay, so that's good. Let's see about going from run to walk. Okay, so here we are, we're at a run. And that happens really quickly. We might need to blend that a little bit more. So let's go ahead and bring this over here. Let's see how that looks. Looks a little bit bad. Let's go ahead and bring it back in. Maybe bring this out a bit more. He doesn't want to let me go further. Okay. Well then, how about if I blend this back further? Okay. Well, might not be the prettiest blend back to walk. And it just takes some finagling to make these look the way you want. Kind of find where that sweet spot is, where the animation matches back up. Oh, that's okay. I'll be okay with that. I'm not going to waste too much more time here. All right, so then let's do idle to run. Let's do make transition from idle to run, and then back in. So we're going to go back over here, make transition, and this one's going to go right back. Okay, so we have to do the same thing here. So from idle to run, there we go. That's pretty good. Let's just try experimenting with the blend and give you a little bit more. Yeah, that looks better. Yep. Okay, so there, walk idle to run, that it looks pretty decent. I'm okay with that. Let's go from run to idle. Imagine it'll still be kind of a little bit. Yeah, we're going to need to blend that a bit more. Bring it over here. Okay, might be a little bit long. And again, this is just tinkering you're going to have to do on your own time. That looks okay. We're going to be good with that. Okay, so then let's go ahead and introduce one of the attacks as well. Okay, so we're going to do another state, create state, empty. And as you're kind of probably looking at this, you can kind of see that this starts to look more like a kind of like a web network type thing. That's kind of what it is. Okay, so going on to motion for this one, we're going to do melee and transition from idle to melee. Also, we need to call it melee. There we go. Let's see how this looks. Okay. Now, if you're concerned about this longer time here, don't be. Really, what's happening here as soon as uh, um, you make the call saying that melee is happening, this transition point that you see, like this part right here, is the transition. This whole bit in here is not going to take this huge section here and say, oh, transition from here all the way here. It's this spot right here that they're going to see. So melee, that looks good. Good. Imagine going back the other way, probably is fine as well. Yep, that's fine. Yep. All right, so let's make a melee from walk and run as well. Let's do make transition from walk. So going from walk, let's test this one out. Walking, and then he melees. That's good. Doesn't need any blending. Let's see about the other way. From melee back to walking. That's good. Let's do melee to run. To and fro. Okay. Let's see how that looks. Okay, let's see about run to melee. Okay, that looks good. All right, so that looks decent. We got our first melee in there. We do have a couple other we got to work in here as well. So let's go ahead and bring in our next states. Create another empty. Okay, so let's see about. We have idle. We have our attacks. We have run. Let's see if we have jump attack. I haven't done that one yet. So do a jump attack. So now you have to ask yourself with this state, can it come from idle? And I don't think that a jump attack should start at idle. We could, but I kind of think that a jump attack would kind of mean that there'd have to be some forward movement first. So it'd have to be like walk, run, and then into a jump attack is what I would be thinking. So you guys might disagree. You guys go ahead and test out idle if you want to, but I'm gonna make this one a case where it only happens if they're already in walk or run. So I'm gonna do a make transition to the jump attack and back again. And then I'm gonna do another one from this one, from run, and then back again as well. So depending on which state it's going into. All right, so from walk, let's see what that looks like. He's walking, and then all of a sudden he, rawr, cool. Okay, and then how about back? So if he's, rawr, and then back to walk. Maybe this one should go back to idle. Let's try just deleting this one here. And we're going to do make transition to back to idle. So that way, this attack, and the blend should be more significant. Okay, so that makes sense. Okay, so we're going to do another one from, let's see here, we have idle to jump attack, and let's go ahead and test the one that's going from run to jump attack. Okay, that's good. And from run to jump attack. I actually kind of like that one, where I leave that, so he can go right back into a run after he jumps. In which case, maybe I'll restore this one from walk. See how that looks. Usually looks kind of funny. We have to stretch that out a bit. You can go ahead and finesse these back and forth however you like. Okay. Alright, so we have melee, walk, run, and jump. And these all have good transitions. Okay. Let's see here. We're pushing 25 minutes for now. Let's go ahead and squeeze one more in, and then we're going to call it for this lesson. You can, yeah, we're going to squeeze one more in, and we're going to test a little bit inside the game view, see how that works out. That's part of the reason we're going to create a game player script to be able to test some of these animations and then make adjustments inside the actual game window and run the character around. Okay, so getting a little ahead of myself, talking about what our next steps are going to be. All right, so this one here is going to be our kick. Okay, we'll call this one kick. And now, what can this kick come from? It can come from idle. So we're going to go from idle to kick and back. We'll test out those two. Let's see here how that looks. Okay, that's fine. Let's do from kick to idle. And we're going to go from, let's see here, what else can kick come from? We're going to do walk to kick. Okay. And then we're going to do walk. And we're going to do kick to run and run kick. Okay. All right, so there's our little spider web of actions. We can go and refine these as we need to, but that will create a state machine that we can start to work with. Now, you'll want to work with your programmer to decide, looking over here, the conditions list, what you're going to use to call it from over here, and that will be what he's going to be building his script with. That'll help you control your character inside the game view. Let's see here. Let's take this. There we go. Let's see if we can get some of this to work a little bit so we can demo inside here. Usually doesn't work super well without the script, so let's just give it a little go and see what happens. Usually it'll just be stuck on the idle position. But we'll go ahead and hit play and see what happens. Oh. Actually, I don't think this is going to work because I forgot I am developing in VR, so it's trying to fire up my Oculus. But it's playing now. Let's see if it'll work. Okay. No, that's not going to work. Okay, we're going to have to save this for the next lesson. Sorry, apologies. So this is where we'll stop for now. In the next lesson, we'll pick this back up and we'll work through what kind of conditions you might want to have these set to and some of the expectations you're going to want to have for your programmer. And we'll have the script kind of plugged in here for testing this actually inside the scene view. All right, so thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next lesson.